Well, hello everyone. I hope you're having a great day. Today is going to be a speed review video. So I'm going to go through a bunch of the products I've been testing for the past couple of months actually. I missed doing my speed review video last month, so I have a bunch of things to talk about today. And at the end of the video, I will share a good read that I had this month. Starting off with a skincare product. So this is I think it's a J Beauty, made in Japan, sunscreen, SPF 50. This is actually a nice one for testing other foundations on, because there's nothing about this that leans super glowy or matte, and it's just a regular kind of lotion. Let me show you this. So like in comparison to others that are more of like a glowy gel or something, this is a regular lotion, and I can't really smell any extra added fragrance. So this is one if you're looking for something that's not glowy, which can sometimes be a challenge. I do find that I reach for my other Asian beauty sunscreens just because they usually have an ingredient in them that does something, my skin just loves it. I can tell it instantly looks brighter or more refreshed. This is just a little bit more of a general sunscreen for me. I will happily use it, but I find that I do prefer using others. Let's talk about this highlighter from Nars. So I was so unbelievably excited about this when I was able to swatch it in Ulta. Let me show you what the swatch looks like and show you why I was just so excited. So I picked up the shade Electra. There is a lighter, much brighter shade. Look at how pretty that is. So unfortunately, this hasn't turned out to be a favorite. Looking at it on camera, it's beautiful. But with a intense highlighter like this, I like it when you can also use just a little bit for a very slight little glow. But I find that this one, when I try to just use a little, it can look a little patchy. This one I feel like needs to be applied at full intensity for it to look its best. It's not ultra sparkly or anything. It's just got a little bit of a different texture than usual. Usually with my highlighters, I like to use a brush like this, but for this particular highlighter, I have found that a little bit more of a dense brush that you can use to buff it in is a little bit more of a better choice for this one. Of note, it's very different than the original highlighter formula. I was actually going to replace my old one with the new one because my old one is so many years old at this point, but they're not nearly the same. This is way more blinding. The old formula was much more of a soft glow. So yes, I do like it. I think it's very pretty, but it's just not quite what I was expecting. And it definitely hasn't taken over some of my more other favorite very bright highlighters like the Rare Beauty one, for instance. Let's talk about this eyeshadow palette from Morphe. So a friend actually bought this for herself. It wasn't for her, she passed it along to me. So this is the Python Code eyeshadow palette. This has some interesting formulas in it. It was very unique to me. I haven't tried this particular formula from Morphe before. These two are baked, and these two I thought would be more like a normal generic shimmer shadow, but they're actually kind of more of a sparkle formula as well. The mattes are nice. However, this one for me is just kind of a throwaway shade. I really wish it was more of maybe a shade in between these two. I really needed a transition or a crease shade in this palette. I ended up mixing these two shades together to be able to get a little bit of a crease shade. It ended up being a little bit of a challenge because this dark brown is nice and pigmented. So it's very nice for liners. Hard to mix with this one though to create a crease shade for myself. But let me swatch these. Okay, so here we have the swatches. They look kind of lackluster, don't they? So I actually am wearing this palette today, and this is the first day where I really felt like this palette really showed me what it could do. And it's because I was layering a bunch of the shades together, and I find that that's what you need to do to make these shades really pop. These shades don't really have much base pigment to them. The color comes from the sparkle. So today I ended up starting with this kind of coppery shade. Then I layered in this turquoise and copper swirl, and I had put that on top. And this definitely is not a formula, by the way, that you brush on. The sparkles will go everywhere. I just kind of pressed gently with my finger. Then I took some more of this blue and put it on the outer corner. And I just kind of added layer after layer of that to get this look. So you can tell, so you can see from what I did, they're not ultra pigmented with the exception of the dark brown. The dark brown has some nice pigment to it. So thank you so much to my friend for gifting this to me for me to try out. I do think I might pass this along to my daughter so she can experiment with the sparkles a little bit. I hope that review was helpful if you have been looking for this kind of color story. Let's talk about lips. So I am wearing the NYX Lip IV Hydrating Gloss Serum. Did I say serum? Serum. This is the shade number 8, Drippin in Rose, and I have blotted off the glossy part. I actually think this is really, really pretty as a glossy lip product as well. It glides on beautifully. It has really nice, even pigment, but it's at the same time, it's not gloopy. It's very, very pleasant to put on. And I have found that the shine actually lasts a long time. But when the shine does wear off, or if you blot it off, you're left with a very nice lip stain. I do want more colors of this. I don't know if I'll let myself do that, but I do want them. I was just about to say this feels like a K-beauty product. Yes, it was made in South Korea, so NYX. They went to the people who know how to make lip stains. I think this is incredibly nice for the drugstore. Well, not just for the drugstore, it's just incredibly nice. I would recommend it. Here's another lip product from NYX. This is the Smushy Matte Lip Balm. So apparently each one of these shades has a different scent. I have the shade number 5, Snuggle Season. Just smelling it, I can't really determine what the scent is supposed to be, but it's very sweet. Anyway, that is the shade. I actually have found that I really enjoy this. It's sometimes you don't want a super shiny lip, especially if you're already wearing a lot of other makeup. Sometimes that can be a little bit too much. So having a matte lip balm, matte tinted lip balm like this is very nice. And one thing I do appreciate about this is that it is not too pigmented. You can tell as I blended it out, it really shears out nicely. So I think that just makes it much more usable and it's very comfortable. This could easily become a purse product. Okay, now for mascara. So I've been trying the E.L.F. Lash and Roll Mascara. It is what I'm wearing today. I'm actually very impressed. Initially, I thought this was going to be kind of a more natural looking mascara, but you know, I figured I would try it anyway. And it has a little bit more drama than I was expecting. It is definitely meant to be a lengthening mascara, but at the same time, it still adds a little bit of drama. I have the shade Pitch Black, and I found that it also wears very nicely on me. It's not a super, super dramatic mascara, but sometimes we don't want that for every day. This is a very nice everyday mascara. And it's nice too because it's not as expensive as some of these other brands. Okay, let's talk about blush. I have, of course, several blushes to mention. Let's start with this palette. So I've been testing this extensively for the past several weeks. And I did try on this palette in my latest Get Ready With Me if you want to see this lighter pink blush in action. Today I am wearing the peach blush and I feel like it's a very beautiful soft peach. I'm also wearing the bronzer and the 2 face powders. The bronzer I did show in that video, but I want to show you again. It is a very, very light bronzer. The blushes also very, very light. I can barely see that light pink. The highlighter is a beautiful soft glow, not at all sparkly. In fact, it can be kind of difficult. Oh, there you can see a beautiful soft glow there on the highlighter. I would recommend this for very pale people. We were talking about this a little bit in the comment section of my last video, and someone mentioned how this would actually be a nice blush since it is so light. I agree. That would be a beautiful neutral blush. I've been wearing it a lot. I actually really enjoy this. I like how light these blushes are when you want just a little kiss of color. And the formula, as always, is beautiful. Glowy, but not too glowy, and ultra finely milled. So I'm very, very happy with my purchase. But I feel like I said this several times, but I want to just say it again just because it's so expensive and I want you to get the one that you want. Just be careful because it is very light. Speaking of beautiful blush formulas, I tried this one from Laura Mercier. So this is the color. I just fell out. Oh no. I have blush everywhere. Okay, it literally fell out. I was able to grab a few pieces of it, but this is now completely shattered on the floor. And look, I have pets. There's no way I will be able to gather all that up without at least one dog or cat hair. I'm incredibly disappointed. But holy cow, I'm gonna try and get over my disappointment and show you this blush. For one thing, if you have that blush, be careful if you're like moving it. But this is the shade. It is a gorgeous, soft, muted, dusty pink. And this one has a little bit of shimmer to it. It's a little bit of a glow. And I do have a video of myself wearing it. Oh, I can't get over it. I'm just literally sitting in a pile of blush. I'm gonna pause and try and clean this up. I'll be right back. All right, I don't know if I'll ever get the stain out of my pants. But anyway, the short story is I'm incredibly disappointed, but I would recommend this blush. Oh, happily I got mine at TJ Maxx, so I was able to save a lot of money. This is a very expensive blush. I'll be on the lookout for a replacement. That's all I have left, just a few pieces. Okay, let's talk about this one from E.L.F. So this is the Lip and Cheek Stain, the Sheer For It Blush Tint. So I have the shade, oh my gosh, it's so hard to read, Left on Red. This is very similar to other tints. If you've ever tried tints like this, it looks very watery and absolutely terrifying in the little container. but actually when you shear it out, it is a very, very soft red. I actually prefer it as a lip stain. I think it's very nice that way. If you're using it as a cheek stain, you do have to move pretty quickly, especially if you're trying to build it up. If you just do a little bit, it works beautifully. If you want to build it up a little bit, I would actually recommend putting it on the back of your hand, using a brush, and then putting it on. When you try to spread it out on top of itself, it can get a little patchy sometimes. For me personally, I have others already that are in this shade. I just purchased it to see if it was anything different from the usual, and to me it isn't. So I'm gonna give this to somebody. I have a little sample of the Hourglass liquid blush. This is called the Unreal Liquid Blush, and I have the shade Scene. Now in the little sample, it comes with a doe foot. I don't think that the full size does. I think it comes in like a little squeezy drop container, doesn't it? In any case, the formula is actually really, really pretty. This color is very soft and easy to wear, a little bit of a glow to it. It does dry down, it doesn't stay sticky, or it actually doesn't even start out sticky at all. So as nice as it is though, it's not necessarily something that I'm desperate to get a full size of. I'm happy to have this little sample. And lastly, I have another liquid blush from NYX. So this is the Fat Cheeks Juicy Plump Blush. When I first tried this, I actually thought it disappeared immediately. I don't know what was going on that day, because ever since I have tried it, it has actually worn very well for me. So it comes with a doe foot. I have the shade Fizz, which I think is a, very nice wearable shade. There, it looks like it shears out pretty nice, but the one time I tried it on camera for you guys during a get ready with me, I'll show you the video, I felt like it was actually a pretty intense pink, and it didn't ever really sink into my skin in terms like some blushes can do where they disappear. The color really stayed. And as far as this being a juicy, plump blush, that really makes you think of it being a super dewy blush. In comparison to other dewy blushes I'm thinking of, like ColourPop had one, M Cosmetics has a really dewy blush. This is not nearly as dewy as those. It just has, a nice, slightly dewy look to it, kind of like the Hourglass one does. This is another formula that I like, but I'm not obsessed. I don't feel like I need to go get other colors. Okay, that is all the makeup that I have to review. I have a few things I know that I used in my latest Get Ready With Me that weren't in this video. I'm still testing them, don't worry, you'll see them in another speed reviews video coming up. Now it's time for a good read that I had in this past month. So I delved into the classics again, and I read this one from Wilkie Collins. This is called The Moonstone, and I had never read anything by Wilkie Collins before. Wilkie Collins was a contemporary of Charles Dickens, so that can give you kind of an idea of the kind of language in the story. You kind of do have to be in a certain mindset, I feel, to read books from that time period. They're kind of wordy, they use good vocabulary, but I actually found Wilkie Collins to be much easier to read than Charles Dickens. As for this particular story, I had a lot of fun with this. I was very entertained. So this is one of the first detective stories, and it features a large yellow diamond, which is commonly called the Moonstone, and it has been looted by a British soldier from an Indian temple. He brings it back to England, but that particular diamond is sacred to a particular religious organization in India, and so they follow him back to England trying to steal it back. But it is in England for several years, and at one point someone inherits it, and then it promptly disappears. So the story is about what happened to the Moonstone, who stole it, and it's told from several different points of view, and I laughed out loud so much. So I really felt like Wilkie Collins enjoyed mocking some stereotypes in this book, namely the religious fanatic, wealthy people who give a lot to charity, not really shown in a very good light. I laughed a lot. And a large portion of the book is written from the viewpoint of the family butler, who is absolutely hysterical. He has a superstition about the book Robinson Crusoe. He feels that whenever anything is going on in his life, he needs to just go to that book and open a page, and whatever he reads on the page will give him insight into how to deal with what's going on in his life. And he does it throughout the book, and it's hysterical. And of course, since it is a detective story, it has a smart detective. He's very fun to follow as well. It's not all fun and games, there is some racism in this book. I think that's also some behavior that he makes fun of a bit in this book, racist behavior. So if that sounds like a good time to you, I think you'd enjoy this. Thank you for watching all the way to the end of this video. This is always where I share my tea of the day. Today I'm drinking an oolong from Verdant Tea. is the spring 2024 version of this tea. Again, I'm gonna put the tasting notes up on the screen. Some of these beautiful oolongs are very nuanced, and I can tell when I'm drinking them that they're special, but I have a difficult time myself picking out the tasting notes. So I'm gonna put those on the screen. As always, if you have used any of these products, please put your review down in the comment section so we can all benefit from your review. I really appreciate you all watching my videos. I'll see you again very soon in the next one. Bye.